Hello and welcome to History 7. In today's episode you will get to know about how Al Capone got his scar and how he lived his life. So let's start. How did Al Capone got his scar? Al Capone was by no means only the personification of evil, despite his name frequently appearing on lists of the most renowned criminals in American history. He was a guy of contrasts. He was both a ruthless mobster and a meticulous accountant, a philanthropist and a cold-blooded killer, a bully and a family man. Little about Alphonse Capone's early years gave any indication of his future success. He was born on January 17, 1899, in New York City, as the fourth of 9 children to emigrants from Castellammare di Stabia near Naples, barber Gabriele and seamstress Teresina. Since Gabriele was a good worker and could read and write, unlike many immigrants, he advanced to become a barbershop owner and provided for his family. Alphonse was intelligent and diligent, and he maintained good marks in school. Up until the age of 14, when he got into a confrontation with a teacher, he had good manners. He was expelled from school despite his claims that he was only protecting himself. He started hanging out on the streets, where he was drawn into the mobster Joseph Torre's world. Lucky Luciano, a buddy of Capone's, also joined his James Street gang. His mentor initially secured him a legal employment as a bartender at Howard's Inn. It was then that Capone got the moniker Scarface, that would live on through history. The 18-year-old was unmanly wooing beautiful guests while he wasn't pouring drinks. That July evening, however, he selected the wrong one. Mobster Frank Gallucci's sister. "Take that as a compliment, you have a gorgeous ass," he said to the girl, to which her brother took a knife and hacked out his cheek. Capone would subsequently insist on being photographed only from his better side and lie to the public about receiving the scar during the war. After that, Capone married Irish lady Mary Coughlin and had a son with her. Then he traveled to Chicago, where Torrio has relocated his business. Big Jim Colosimo, Torrio's uncle, was the boss of the mafia at the time, and his major duty was running brothels. Torrio understood that a lot of money was concealed in illegal booze when prohibition went into force, but Colosimo was not interested in this sort of company. In other terms, he obstructed Torrio's objectives. Torrio becomes the head of the Chicago Mafia after employing a body to liquidate the Colosimo and obtaining alibis for himself and Capone. Capone, who previously maintained his books, is his right-hand man. Over the following several years, their group earned a wealth from illicit alcohol manufacturing and sale, but also a slew of adversaries among competing criminal organizations. Torrio goes to retirement after narrowly escaping an assassination attempt, and hands over leadership of his empire, which at the time included hundreds of brothels, casinos, and illicit alcohol taps, to his protege Capone. Although he was just 25 years old when he became the head of one of the greatest mafia families, he displayed extraordinary economic acumen as well as tenacity in dealing with all those who tried to resist him. Although there is no formal evidence that he took part in the Valentine's Day massacre, which resulted in the execution of members of the Irish gang of Bugs Moran, it was evident to everyone that Capone ordered the slaughter. And, if necessary, he knew how to get his hands dirty. He wiped out 3 criminals who he suspected of switching sides with a baseball bat. Even though he paid cops and politicians for years and was well liked by the people, such acts could not go on indefinitely. When the ambitious Elliot Ness took over as FBI director, the hoop around the mafia lord tightened. The feds, in particular, had a new tool in their arsenal against gangsters. They began accusing them of dodging taxes on unlawfully acquired property. The notorious Al Capone fell on his banality. He was found guilty of the crime and sentenced to 11 years in jail in 1931. He spent the majority of his term at Alcatraz, and when he was released, he was a broken man. His health was seriously hampered by his incarceration and the implications of untreated syphilis for a long time. He moved to a mansion in Florida, where the illness progressed to his brain. He never returned to Chicago since he was not psychologically capable of raising a family. His physiatrist noted that the patient had the mental abilities of a 12-year-old child. He died at the age of 48 and his wife cared for him till the end. This concludes the story of Al Capone and how he got his scar. If you want to know more, please subscribe, leave a like, and see you in the next episode of History 7.